And what is going on, everybody? What a crazy day. I say that a lot, but being said, today was crazy, especially if you are trading GameStop, which I am not because I believe that's a pure gamble. Nonetheless, people are making some ridiculous money. I don't like to chase like that. Being said, remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. So, earnings has started to kick off. It is 6:08 Eastern Standard Time. So, the bell has just closed just a quick minute ago. Microsoft announced earnings. They crushed it. They're up quite a bit after hours. AMD didn't look so hot. I know it spiked up for a second and then it crashed back down. That might have just been off of guidance. I'm not quite sure there. Or might even have something to do with Apple and making their own chips even still. So, being said, I think we can just go straight into the charts today because there's a lot going on that we would just want to look at in general. So let's not even play around. We want to dive into the chart. So AMD, again, I didn't actually see what they did on earnings, but they spiked up. I'm assuming this is guidance and why it crashed back down. I'm not quite sure. I know a lot of stuff is based off of guidance. This is why these spikes are like this are essentially happening. It could be a lot of different things, but nonetheless, technical wise, looks like we're right back where we started for AMD. So, but being said, let's go ahead and just pull straight SPY here. SPY is still playing. It's actually wedging quite a bit. Everything, to be honest, is actually wedging at this point. So, as I've talked about renewables and even Square and everything coming up to this point, everything is waiting for tomorrow. You have a lot going on tomorrow. You got the climate plan, which is supposed to be released tomorrow, I believe. You also have the Fed tomorrow, and then you have the biggest earnings going on tomorrow. So there is a lot going on tomorrow. I talked about this last night, about there being a lot of chop possibly today, just trying to get to Wednesday. We did see, again, some crazy moves. I know there were a lot of big investors talking about GameStop. I mean, why is I pull up GameStop? Since this is going to be a historical record. GameStop, ridiculous, 248 after hours. I know one of the big investors had sent out a tweet this morning that he was going to buy GameStop. I think it was Tsla, if I can say his name correctly. He announced that this morning that he was going to buy Leaps for 150. Well, it looks like he was well into the money at that this morning. I almost took a position here this morning only because of that tweet. I decided against it because this here, it is historical. I just don't want to get caught up in this hot mess. So I left it be, but AMD is running up after hours as well. I just don't. I think this is going to be a bad choice. This will come, I think, crashing down, even though it says 248 now. By the morning, I can see that flushing down quite a bit. Even pre-market, I could see a lot of that coming down. So if you are in calls, you might have a tough time trying to get out tomorrow. But nonetheless, let's go back to the original scheduled program here. Tesla, I did take some red today. I jumped a lot. I jumped real early on two particular trades today. It happens sometimes. I got caught up in the hype. I don't typically do that. But today there were some good setups. Tesla, I thought, was going to run. I wanted to get a good position just because of tomorrow, to be honest. I thought we might actually see some run up today. I did come in and I grabbed it down here off this bottom candle. Started selling off. It took a little red and then it dipped all the way down. It popped right back up and now it's just trading sideways. I think going into tomorrow, I almost took another position on this, but again, I wanted to wait and see how overnight played first. If there's any kind of pullback. The past 2 days have been really weird with these crazy sell-offs that turn around and spike right back up. So the market just in general has had some major volatility in it. Again, there's a lot going on. If you are not part of Wall Street Bets or don't know about Wall Street Bets, as of late, you will. But nonetheless, Tesla tomorrow, again, I see a lot going on tomorrow. I think with Powell, I think it's just going to be flat news like he's been talking about. He hasn't really pointed as to anything really being bad. I think the numbers are good. But he always essentially follows it up with the fact that, hey, if something does happen, because, if something does happen with the vaccine or, the virus or anything like that, that we could possibly, he might have to step in at that point. As of right now, everything is looking good and we're getting more stimulus. Again, these earnings, I think big tech is just going to crush it. And tomorrow is just going to essentially open the floodgates, in my opinion. But being said, Tesla should be the leader in that. Again, if there's a tax credit tomorrow with a climate thing, I don't know what time that is. It's something I have to actually check. But when that climate plan comes out, that could cause us to start, essentially ignite Tesla to start moving towards 1,000. Then if earnings, which I believe they'll crush it at that point. Again, this is not financial advice. Don't go put your life savings on Tesla. Apparently right now it's GameStop. So again, don't do that either. But nonetheless, Tesla tomorrow, I think, will be a big mover. Apple, again, will be a big mover after Microsoft. As soon as that Microsoft earnings came out, it pushed up, again, tested all-time highs here, then started selling off. I think Apple will crush it. I don't know how big of a move they're anticipating in Apple. That's a lot easier to predict closer to the end of day, the bell. Typically the last 30 minutes or so, you can see what's being priced in. You get a better idea at that point. So being said, tomorrow I think tomorrow we might see a lot of sideways actions. Even overnight, we might see some sideways action, to be honest, until we get some sort of news, whether that's climate news, whether that's Powell stuff would probably be more like around 1 or 2-ish later in the afternoon. So you're looking at that on top of earnings 2 hours from that point. So it's interesting to see where that climate news is going to drop in the morning. If that dropped on 11, I think every couple hours tomorrow, we might be getting, we're going to get some major volatility tomorrow, to say the least. So Facebook had another big tear up today. I completely missed this. I wasn't actually expecting Facebook to break this, to be honest, and it sure did. I didn't have the alarm set on, or the alert set on this one, but it broke above and it went ripping again today. Again, I think it's going to crush earnings. It's going to retest 300. Airbnb had a nice little rip today. I didn't catch that. I think I was watching it this morning. Square. Now, this is one, I think a lot of people, I have been in this one. I went in this one looking at earnings. I think the biggest thing here to understand is that strong support right now. If it does break this, it could be a sell-off. But nonetheless, towards the end of the day, there was a lot of calls coming in here. I am holding this for earnings. I think the numbers that they're going to have are going to crush earnings. PayPal and Square have been selling off as of late. I think people have reallocated assets at this point, whether that's in GameStop or AMC, whatever the case is. But I think there'll be a rotation coming up. Maybe that's in a week from now. I was planning on holding this for a month. That's what my initial plan was. That's why I took leaps. That's why I took shares, because that's what it was. I wasn't worried about a dip down because I was expecting if it dipped, that would be fine. I'm not worried about it. I haven't added anything more to this, but again, why I'm in shares and leaps and is holding at the moment. And they're actually holding out pretty well. So again, why I took the leaps and the shares in this particular play with Square. But I do think Square is going to have a rocking earnings, and it's just a matter of time before this turns around, in my opinion. Now, you can play that or you can't. Again, I was in this for the long haul. That's why I took this position. I believe, again, it will crush it. Being said, we still got 4 weeks out. So I think people are just trying to add to the position at this point. And seeing that, I know I did fly up to 250. ARK, I think, was originally projecting this stock to hit 375 by 2025. And again, I mean, innovation right now is just going haywire, right? It's this transition into innovation, and a lot of these stocks like this are making these huge gains a lot quicker than ARK thought they would. Being said, Square is still good. It's still playing this range. It's still good, in my opinion. It's still good. It's still in the range. As long as we don't break this. If we do break this, I am in shares. I am in Leaps. I plan on holding these until earnings, because I believe the run-up will ultimately test and break that 247 mark and aim for that 300 mark. That's what I am thinking on Square. Again, being said, closing bell, a lot of calls started coming in. There was a lot of puts towards the end of the day. And then, there's no real news. And that's what kind of leads to my conviction, is there's no real reason for this to be selling off. Aside from maybe some hedge managers that might be upset with the fact that they're getting screwed over by GameStop right now. So they gotta short something, right? I know SQ in the past has burnt a lot of hedge managers with this movement up. So being said, maybe that's a little bit of payback for what's going on. Who knows? GIK, I'm still in this one, still wedging. A lot of these are wedging. I think these are waiting for tomorrow and get a bump on the climate stuff. Again, I've been all preparing my positions essentially for tomorrow and seeing moves up. Snow, still good consolidation. This is, I think, soon to see another pop off of this too. So hopefully we aim for that 400. We'll see how that goes. There's a lot of short sellers in here too. Snow is another big one that is shorted. Etsy was one I took today and I got burnt on today. It actually came down into the zone today. I know Elon was sending out tweets this morning that he loved Etsy. At this point, I had gotten in the bottom of this zone. It started to pull back. I was in the green a little bit, and then it came down, and I sold out, and then we had a drop. So did catch a little red on Etsy today. Again, not that big of a deal. The reason, again, I manage my risks through shares and through Leaps. Now, if I was in a weekly contract or a monthly contract, I would have got burnt pretty bad on specific moves like this. I do take those sometimes. Actually, today I did have a month, two months out for this one, so I did get burnt a little bit on this. But again, it's nothing bad. Again, I still recover that. My losses are no more than a day, what I can make in a day, essentially, right? So I did take a little bit of burn on this, and with that Tesla burn, which with Tesla was way smaller than my Etsy burn. So being said, I can make that up in a day. I'm not worried about it. Biggest thing here is to look at the macro as opposed to the micro. I think you look at the micro, you get caught up in that. I know instant results is always good. I aim for those sometimes too, but I used to do a lot of that before too. But ultimately, the macro is what matters. ENPH. So this is actually playing range. It did pop in here. I didn't buy this at all. Like I said, if I'm taking like 2 hits like I did today, like I'll take a breather, I'll take a step back. My fault today was I was rushing it too much today. I was trying to make stuff happen as opposed to waiting for something to come to me. So I did take that, and essentially what I did was I chilled out for a bit, right? I took a step back and I waited. A couple other plays I almost took, but I did not. Just kind of waiting, trying to liquidate. I think I got liquidated some other positions as well today. just for tomorrow, shifting some stuff around. But nothing. But nonetheless, EMPH. I was out of this when up here when it tagged up, and then now it's back down here in the range. I didn't grab anything new here. This could run tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. I have that other leap for energy, so I'm not really worried about ENPH. I might look more at those now. The ENPH and TAN might be more of the correction grab at this point. NIO is trading sideways. A lot of the EVs I think are just flat right now. This is my other power play here. Again, playing range. I'm still in this one. This is why I essentially sold my ENPH position from the top, because I was holding this. This is a leap, so I'm good on that position. I believe it's actually a leap. Let me double check that. I'm pretty sure. Some of these you can only buy, I think, 6 months out. I'm not sure if let me see here. It's December, so it's almost about a year. So it's not quite considered a leap, but it's pretty close. So nonetheless, I'm still in this one. I think this year this one will rip. So that's where I'm with that. BNLBD, again, I'm at the consolidation on these EVs look really good. And I think, again, they're all wedging for tomorrow. That's what I am predicting. That is what I was planning to do. So we'll see how tomorrow plays out. Again, if we get a big tear tomorrow off of some good climate change news, I will actually start exiting a lot of these plays. Again, I want to be as liquid as possible coming out of earnings. I think, again, we'll run quite a bit for the next week or two. And then after that, I think we'll start dying down. So I do have this, and I might plan on holding this. I'm still actually up on this particular position. Again, in shares on this, I did, again, chop a big chunk of it out on that peak there. So I'm just holding half the shares that I was holding originally. So holding this, waiting to see what happens with that. Tomorrow, I think BLBD actually might rip starting tomorrow. NGA is the same way. Again, this is another EV play on the vans. The biggest thing to understand here for this one too is that this is also a long-term play. It could pop tomorrow. It could pop a couple months from now. Again, EV play long-term. I do have shares in this that I don't plan on selling. Again, with BLBD. Although if we do get any kind of pop out of this tomorrow, I will be selling the calls that I do have out of this, and then freeing up some of that. But I'll still keep the shares. I want to keep the shares for the year, even if we have a correction. I'm not really heavy in the share department with these. I got enough of a position that if we do rock it for whatever reason, I can get a nice chunk of money out of it. But nonetheless, that's my plan with those two. And then DM trading sideways, looks like it's starting to fall back now. I want to get back into this one, but I think ultimately I want it to come back down. I don't know if it'll come back down to 1182. It is possible. I mean, we had that wick down to 13 the other day, and then it jumped right back up, but we're starting to come down on that. A lot of the stuff, I think, is just rotation on earnings. Disney, I'm still holding this one. It's looking pretty ratty, to be honest, but still holding this particular this zone. Being said, I still think they're going to destroy. My conviction is in the fact that their earnings are going to destroy. Essentially, seeing the Netflix numbers and the new users and everything, plus all the new shows that came out. I think ultimately that's why I am in a leap in this. I'm not in multiple leaps. I'm not super heavy in these. Right, so I am reducing risk, so I'm not super heavy in these things either. So if they go to zero, I'm okay with that. TAN, again, pulling back, looks like it's wedging. Everything, all the EVs look like they're wedging nicely for tomorrow. Again, if we get positive news across the board, it's going to be epic, right? If we get good news for EV stocks, we get Powell coming on the horn saying that, everything he's going to, I think, just come on and say everything is still okay. The numbers are good. We don't need stimulus, but we're getting stimulus anyway. And then you get some awesome earnings on top of that. I think, Wednesday evening into, Thursday, Friday, we're going to see some big moves, and then possibly some selling on Friday for a dip buy into next week and continue the earnings stretch. So that is where I see it. Visa's bouncing around now. After that one play I had on Visa, I've really just left it alone, only because of the fact that PayPal and Square, I believe, are really going to crush this and put this to rest. Visa and MasterCard with their crypto and everything are kind of destroying the old banks and credit cards and everything. So that might be Visa and MasterCard's demise. So being said, Spot is actually wedging here very nicely. I don't know when their earnings are. They might actually, I have to look, they might actually be next week. If that's the case, it is wedging. If we get some awesome news tomorrow, I can definitely see this breaking out. I mean, it's ready to break out. It might even break out overnight, to be honest. I didn't catch this beforehand, but it does look like a nice break. BYD had an insane day. They partnered with PepsiCo today. So overnight, you got that news, and it's skyrocketed. Now, this is another big stock that gets shorted really bad, too. And I had sold it way down here. And man, if I had just held it, like my original conviction was to go to 200. Yeah, that just killed it today. 227. That was ridiculous. I think it was more than just a partnership. I think a lot of times, again, short squeeze on this one as well, and just destroyed it. 227 today. That's insane. Lemonade still got a lot of consolidation here. It does look good for another move up. Contracts aren't the greatest. You're essentially trying to capture perhaps a $30 move. Don't know when earnings are. Lemonade could be another good one. I think Lemonade is kind of high, though. Dropbox, I talked about this yesterday. I never got into this. A couple of the people I trade with were talking about this and how it has been, it's not the easiest to trade, and it's very slow, as you can see. It goes for days on end, and then you get a nice little rip, and that's pretty much it. So I didn't take Dropbox. It does look good. If you're in it for the longer haul, then you can go ahead and go by all means. Win, it's coming down. It's almost down to that 102 mark. Again, for this, I would wait more for this. At this point, I'm waiting for a correction before I think about Win. TDOC trading sideways. Maybe we get another triple top here and sell off. I'm not sure when their earnings are either. Nintendo. I looked at this again. It's just shares, not very liquid. The volume sucks. Being said, I passed on Nintendo. I mean, it could still be there, right? Like, ARK is invested in it. I think there's a lot of different, a lot of good potential news this year for Nintendo. So, could be a good play, but not something I like. NVIDIA, sideways action. AMD, like I said, this must be guidance. I'm assuming that this came out, that it beat expectations. Let me actually look and see if they got. Let's see here. It looks like they have. Let's see, quarterly revenue up 53% year over year, full year revenue of 9.76 billion, up 45%. Quarter, full year income net more than doubled from the year prior. Yeah, I think it's. Yeah, it just must. I mean, the numbers look good. It just, I think. Expectations in the future and stuff like that with Apple, I think might be what's causing that. BA will have earnings tomorrow. So this whole buildup that I've been talking about kind of for BA, it looks like we'll finally get some movement on this tomorrow. We'll really show its stripes tomorrow. Again, BA holds some weight. So we'll see if BA falls and everything else does not. That might cause us another sell-off in the morning, like the past 2 days that we've had. We've had some wacky days the past 2 days. So BA earnings in the morning. Amazon finally found its tick again, is pushing back up. Not in this one. BABA looks like it's starting to try to make a comeback. Don't trade BABA that often. Snap, a lot of sideways action. Haven't taken anything aside from when I caught that last move up. A very good Butcher. I got in a position of this because I like the consolidation on this. I'm trying to capture another move back to 7 or retest on 7. If it does drop back down, it's a really light position because I know we're kind of midway, but we are starting to consolidate here. If we do dip down, I would add more at the 435 mark. Same with Planet 13. I did get in this one. Again, the consolidation is looking pretty good right here. But if we do dip back down into the 517, I will add more to that. Again, this initial positions, I'm not heavy at all on these. These are just share positions, nothing crazy. Evogen, this is continuing to push up. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. I did sell the shares for a different position. I sold the shares for this and bought Facebook Leap when it was ripping up. So one of my other stray accounts that I don't touch very often. Lucid, again, all EVs are kind of just playing sideways. Planters had demo day. Apparently it wasn't very exciting because it started dying off after hours. So that must have just been the move up, was anticipation of that. And then now it's just kind of dying off. Again, Microsoft crushed it. Could be a good continuation play tomorrow. If the market doesn't go astray, Microsoft could be a good play. Space is another one of those shorted stocks that people started getting in and piling in based off of the GameStop stuff. So Space started moving up big again today. Let's see what else. I think Workhorse got some news about buses and stuff that came out last night, so it started ripping up last night. Shop, e-commerce space is just kind of taking a hit today. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. Pow's moving up after hours. Still holding a position in this. I did sell one of my Pows today at a small loss. Again, just trying to free up money. It's nothing big. Just trying to free up some money for tomorrow. Let's see, XPI, no. TSIA, this is one, it's an acquisition. This is one I'm looking more into and starting to build a position out on a SaaS product. But being said, when I get all the stuff for this, I will let you guys know. IQ, like I talked about yesterday for VR, that could be a good one. But that's essentially, I think, what I got. Again, tomorrow there's a lot of news. So I think what is going to happen, again, this is theory. If you are a technical trader, you're going to go off the charts. It really doesn't matter what I say. If you're a fundamental trader, there's again a lot of news coming tomorrow. Technical or not, you're going to see a lot of volatility tomorrow. We might gap up, we might sell off. I think at this point we're starting to gap up, seeing Microsoft. There'll be some empathy plays. Some other stocks might start rising because of Microsoft. I actually wouldn't be surprised if Square gapped up overnight because of Microsoft. It starts its ascent back again tomorrow. Again, being said, there was a lot of option calls in this towards the end of the day. But I think tomorrow we're just going to, if all three of the major things hit tomorrow, if we got, again, climate, if we got, again, Powell. If we get earnings, it's going to be epic. I'm expecting earnings for big tech to just blow it out of the water. Again, for Powell, I really think he's just going to come on and straight say that things are essentially the same. They're looking good, but he still has to take precautions. And then I think Biden is going to come out and display the infrastructure of what he wants for this whole renewable thing. I'm looking to see renewables, TAN, all of them, a lot of the EV stocks. If there's any kind of tax credit on that stuff, you can again really see Tesla explode tomorrow before earnings. So add that to earnings. Again, I think we could possibly ride well over 1,000 tomorrow if everything, if all the ducks align, essentially. So we got to get all 3 ducks aligned tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. But with that being said, remember to hit the like button and to subscribe if you haven't done so already. And until next time, guys, I will see you guys later.